Elon Musk's Grok AI controversy, NSFW features, CSAM risks, and employee trauma. Introduction: a new storm around Grok AI. Elon Musk's artificial intelligence startup, XAI, has been making waves in the tech industry since its creation. Marketed as an alternative to what Musk calls censored AI platforms like ChatGPT, Grok was meant to be bold, unfiltered, and fun. Musk himself frequently joked that Grok was designed to have a sense of humor and to answer questions in ways that other AI systems would avoid. But beneath the edgy marketing, a darker picture is now emerging. According to a bombshell investigation by Business Insider, Grok AI was deliberately designed with sexually explicit features at its foundation. That design choice, combined with the way employees were asked to train and refine the system, has raised serious alarms about safety, child protection, and the long-term risks of unleashing such a model on the public. This new report is based on interviews with over 30 current and former employees of XAI. Many of them described being forced to handle disturbing material on a regular basis. Some quit their jobs because of the psychological toll, while others stayed but admitted to being deeply uncomfortable with the direction the company was taking. When most people think of AI chatbots, they imagine helpful assistants, search engines, or productivity tools. But Grok was different from the start. Unlike OpenAI, Anthropic, or Meta, which go to great lengths to restrict sexual or harmful content, XAI built Grok with modes that explicitly encourage sexual and provocative interactions. Employees described internal tools labeled spicy, sexy, and unhinged. These weren't Easter eggs or hidden developer hacks. They were core parts of the chatbot's design. Among the most controversial features was a flirtatious female avatar capable of undressing on command. By embedding these capabilities into Grok's training pipeline, XAI essentially made sexual content part of the model's DNA. Experts warn this makes it far harder to contain harmful or illegal outputs later on, because the system has already been exposed to and trained on sensitive material from the start. Experts warn this makes it far harder to contain harmful or illegal outputs later on, because the system has already been exposed to and trained on sensitive material from the start. The Business Insider report paints a vivid picture of what life was like for workers training Grok. At least a dozen employees confirmed being directly exposed to sexually explicit material. Some were asked to label pornographic images, others had to review graphic videos and audio files, while still others were told to annotate written sexual stories. These weren't isolated cases or rare edge scenarios. Employees said they were reviewing hundreds of files each week, sometimes spending hours immersed in adult content. Several staff members revealed that some of this material appeared to be illegal in nature, involving requests or outputs that crossed into child sexual abuse material, CSAM. One former annotator put it simply, "You either developed a thick skin, or you quit." Many chose the latter. The report highlights one particularly controversial internal initiative, Project Rabbit. This was designed to help Grok become more fluent in sexual and adult-themed conversations. Tutors working on Project Rabbit were asked to transcribe real user chats. Many of these interactions were graphic, role-play-style scenarios. One employee said the experience often felt like listening in on people's private phone sex calls. Users, of course, were unaware that humans might later be reviewing these conversations. Other workers described having to listen to what sounded like audio porn, so that the AI could be trained on how to mimic the style of these interactions. While this improved Grok's ability to engage in adult dialogue, it also placed employees in a position of constant exposure to disturbing material. If Project Rabbit was uncomfortable, Project Fluffy was downright alarming. While Rabbit handled adult conversations, Fluffy was designed to teach Grok how to interact with children. This immediately raised concerns about overlap. Employees revealed that while working on Fluffy, they still encountered requests that blended children with sexual content. In rare but highly troubling cases, Grok even generated inappropriate material involving minors. When this happened, workers had to quickly flag and isolate the outputs to prevent them from contaminating Grok's training data. But the fact that it happened at all suggests a serious flaw in the system's design. To many, this was evidence that XAI's choice to train Grok on both adult and child interactions created an inherently unsafe environment. The toll on employees cannot be overstated. Reviewing disturbing, graphic, and in some cases unlawful material left many annotators deeply shaken. Several described experiencing emotional exhaustion and trauma. Others said they started to feel numb, developing what they called a thick skin, just to keep working. At least some staff members left XAI entirely, citing the constant exposure to CSAM-related content as the reason for their resignation. The company, aware of how difficult the work was, reportedly began recruiting people with backgrounds in adult entertainment, or those comfortable working with explicit content. This hiring strategy may have solved short-term staffing issues, but it also highlighted just how unsafe and psychologically demanding the work environment had become. One of the most striking parts of this controversy is the gap between Elon Musk's public statements and what employees say was happening inside XAI. Musk has repeatedly positioned himself as a crusader against online child exploitation. He has tweeted and spoken about how eliminating CSAM is his priority number one. He has criticized other platforms like Twitter, Meta, and OpenAI for failing to do enough. But behind the scenes, XAI workers claim they were repeatedly exposed to CSAM-related requests during training, and in some cases, Grok itself produced such material. To employees, this felt like a direct contradiction between Musk's promises and the company's actual practices. This mismatch has not only raised eyebrows in the tech community, but is also likely to attract the attention of regulators and child safety watchdogs. Experts in artificial intelligence safety are now sounding the alarm. They argue that Grok's design represents a fundamental shift away from responsible AI practices. By embedding NSFW features into the core of the model, XAI may have made it impossible to guarantee safety at scale. Other AI companies like OpenAI and Anthropic have spent years building systems specifically to block sexual or harmful requests. These guardrails aren't perfect, but they represent an effort to prevent abuse. Grok, by contrast, seems to have gone in the opposite direction, leaning into adult content as a selling point. Critics warn this could backfire spectacularly, leading to legal challenges, reputational damage, and potential regulatory crackdowns. The controversy around Grok isn't happening in isolation. The AI industry is in the middle of a fierce competition, with companies racing to build smarter, more engaging, and more profitable models. Musk positioned Grok as a counterculture alternative, a system that would say the things other chatbots wouldn't. That strategy may have won attention, but it also created an environment where safety was deprioritized. By allowing Grok to explore sexual and unfiltered territory, XAI may have carved out a niche, but it also opened the door to risks no other major AI firm would accept. The fallout from this controversy could determine whether Grok becomes a lasting player in the AI space, or whether it becomes a cautionary tale about the dangers of pushing boundaries too far. What began as Musk's attempt to build an edgy, humorous AI assistant has now evolved into one of the most serious controversies in the AI world. Employees have described psychological trauma, exposure to CSAM, and unsafe training practices. Experts warn that Grok's explicit design makes it inherently dangerous, and Musk's own words about child protection now seem to clash with his company's internal operations. The big question now is, can Grok recover? Can XAI build the safeguards necessary to protect users, employees, and children? Or has the company already crossed a line that will be impossible to walk back? Whatever happens next, one thing is clear. Grok is no longer just a quirky chatbot with an attitude. It has become a test case for how far AI companies are willing to go in the name of being unfiltered, and whether the risks that come with that decision are worth it. It has become a test case for how far AI companies are willing to go in the name of being unfiltered, and whether the risks that come with that decision are worth it.